Go live. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. It was a busy week, but productive, so I can't really complain. I can't really complain, but that's part of it all. But I'm doing great. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. I'm blessed. I'm above the ground and not
Yes,
underneath the ground.
yes. That's most definitely a beautiful thing.
Okay, we are now live. Hey everyone, welcome back to LashayVenturePodcast. Podcast. I have a special guest here with me. I'm gonna go ahead and let him introduce himself.
How's everybody doing? I'm SpudBrooklyn. I'm the CEO of SHU Music, a music professional for about 12 years now, from A&Ring to business consulting. I started out as an artist first, and it just morphed into the business. And I was able to help all the other artists navigate through this industry, preferably independent artists, and share the gems and the jewels that I got along the way to help guide them into their passion and as well as business. That's very important, the business aspect of it. So that's what I've been doing for, I could say, large part of my life has been revolved around music, but the business aspect, you could say, has been about the last 14 years into the music business.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit more about your journey, like in the music industry?
Yeah,
And
sure. So I originally started out as an artist. Just like everybody else, I wanted to get a record deal. I wanted to get a record deal. And I thought it was just as easy as, I make some great music, get it in someone's hand, and then it takes off. And cracking that door was very difficult. And one of the techniques that we actually used to crack the door was we spray painted my face in
wow.
front of every record label every night. And they would clean it up every night, every night. And one day when we went to spray it back, there was a note asking, what do you want? And
Okay.
there was an email, and we emailed them back stating that, I was an artist and we wanted to have a meeting. And I had my first meeting at Jive Records. My
Wow.
first meeting at Jive Records. And I thought it was gonna be just so simple. You have the meeting, I got good music, you like the music, we move forward. And I started to learn some of the technical stuff while presenting the music. And they were looking at, performances. Analytics wasn't a big thing at that time.
Hmm.
It wasn't a big thing. Social media was just really taking off. I mean, there was MySpace and Facebook, kind of the only two. But they were really looking at, the marketing aspect of what they had on their label. And at the time, Marion was the big artist. And they were like, hey, if you could dance in your raps, that would help us. And I'm like, are you listening to my music? Like, it's not really the dance. That wasn't the
Yeah.
move. I wasn't trying to like bust a move or nothing like that. But
Are you really listening to what I'm saying? Why would I be trying to dance? Yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like, come on. And that's when I realized in that very moment where it wasn't really just about what the artist wanted. In many cases, it was what they were trying to push. Like they had a certain agenda or method that they were strong at. And that's what really got me into the business. And a situation occurred while I was, courting and having a meeting, because it wasn't one meeting, it was like 15 meetings.
Wow.
We kept going back to meetings trying to figure out what could we do. And in one meeting, they said, hey, man, if you were a songwriter, we could probably start that way. And I said, well, I am a songwriter. I write my own music, so I'm a songwriter. And they
Yeah.
were like, well, we want to write some songs. We're looking for songs for Avril Lavigne. And I once read written a song for a group called Evanescence.
Hmm.
And I said, oh, I got a record for Avril Lavigne. And I submitted the record, and they enjoyed the record. So
Wow.
in the same process, I was like, okay, this would be a great way for me to get into the music business, just being a writer, and then I could present me later.
Okay.
And this event now took me into the wide range of spectrum of businesses when CNBC was looking for a song for their commercial. They had a TV show called The New Bulls, and they were looking for a song. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna submit a record. And I
Not
submitted the
even knowing.
and I submitted it, right? I submitted it. And then they said to me, you keep the rights to it. We're gonna pay you, but you keep the rights. We don't want the rights. And I was like, for real? And they were like, yeah. And I submitted the record and I got some money for it. And it wasn't until about 4 or 5 months later, a lawyer contacts me and he says, hey, you the songwriter? And I said, yeah. He said, how did that deal go? And I said, it went great. I own the record. Because that's what artists really focus on, ownership.
Yeah.
So I was like, I own the record and they paid me. And he said, let's take a look at that. And he asked me, how much did I negotiate for my foreign rights? And then he asked me, did I negotiate reruns and DVD sales? And he was asking me a whole bunch of questions that I didn't know. So I asked him, okay, let me ask you, everything you just asked me, calculate it and tell me how much I missed. And it was about 70 to 80,000 dollars on the table that I didn't get because I didn't know some of this stuff. And that's what prompted
Wow.
me into business. From that day forth, I was like, nah, that's what I need to know. Like, that's the part of this game that I don't know. And I designated and dedicated my whole journey to learning that. And it changed my life.
I'm pretty sure it did. That's a lot of money that you missed.
Yes, and artists don't realize how much money they miss in opportunities a lot of times, just worrying about ownership. Like that's all I was worrying about. And they were like, yeah, 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 yeah. You could own it. You could own it. And I was just happy with that, not realizing that there was a lot more money on the table that I could have negotiated with the rights of not only owning it, but also, leasing or giving up a percentage of it.
Okay, so with you on, what's the difference? Like with you on, you could just put a price on it. That's what you're saying. Like you
You
can negotiate the price
you
with you
can't
on.
you can negotiate not only the price but the percentages of the money coming in. And if you don't know how the money's coming in, they're just gonna be like, all right, we're not even gonna talk about it.
We just gonna say you own it. We
Yeah,
ain't gonna
yeah, yeah.
go
We're
out
not
and
gonna talk
say,
about it. Yeah,
yeah.
you want the record? Yeah, the record's yours. And then the money's coming in. They like, well, he didn't mention nothing about this. So understanding the money flow in the music business is very important for artists. And understanding that the money flow can fluctuate or change depending on your situation and how you negotiate it.
Mhm.
And that's a lot of things that I try to share with artists in this day and age.
I think that's good information because a lot of people do just they own stuff and they just give it up.
Yeah. And then there's a flip side, which a lot of people don't realize is you could own something and own 100% of nothing.
Wow.
And I give you a good example with take masters. I know a lot of artists say, I want my masters and they fighting for owning their masters. And I walked this artist into a meeting and he's arguing he wants his masters. And I had to like kick him under the table, like, you own your masters right now. How much money are you making from your masters? He says zero. So I said, what are you trying to like? What's your goal with your music? He said to make money. So I said, give up a percentage of your masters. And he said, why would I do that? And this is what I have to explain to artists with masters. The importance of masters is letting your music catalog mature as time goes.
Hmm.
And as it matures and develops some type of interest, people will use your music for movies, television, different things, and then you can license it. The problem with owning our masters is a lot of people don't know where to go. They don't know the publishing companies. They don't know the producer companies, Universal or Sony Movies. They don't know them. The movies go to the record labels. So if you give the record labels, say 49%, they're going to work your catalog so it can make money. But if they don't have a percentage in your catalog, no one's coming to you to license your music.
Wow.
So I tell artists, you got to play the game. Give up some so you can make something rather than keep 100% and make nothing. Because as an independent artist right now, we own 100% of our masters, but people don't even know what to do with it. They just hear ownership, ownership. And that's what blocked me in business, just thinking of ownership and not playing the game of how to make money from owning a percentage of my music rather than owning 100% and not make nothing.
Yeah, I think that's very informative, and that's what I think that's what business period though.
Yes, it
Because
really
it's not
is.
even just with the music business; it's like with entertainment and everything. Like you got to know, like, okay, this is I'm presenting you with my company, but I want this percentage of it. I
Yes,
don't know how much money I'm gonna get out of it. Like, some people just go and they just throw they, all right, cool, I own it, yeah, but you need to negotiate the prices and everything because people will miss out your money real fast.
that's
And this
right.
is this is your baby. This is what you own.
That's
What do
right.
you feel like you worth? Don't just take anything and sign with the pen. That's what be wrong with the late people be signing with these labels because y'all see this amount of money and then fall back into bankruptcy and fall back into don't have no money. And they like, where the money went? You paid everything.
Yeah, you sure did. And you might owe everything. Like,
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like that's how people go into bankruptcy, right? Like a
yeah.
lot of artists have went into bankruptcy because from the movies I watch because of that.
Yeah, you know the when signing a deal, I hear artists say, "Yeah, I signed $1 million deal," and I say, "Well, you're $1 million in debt because that deal is in advance, and what that means is they're paying you ahead of time. So you owe them before you even made money. You owe them $1 million before you made a cent. So everything that accumulates after that deal is a charge to you." So they charge you for the studio time, the flights, the food, the production, the beats, the
Mhm.
features, the magazine. So before your album even drop, you racked up $4 or $5 million in debt that you have to pay off. So this is where the misconceptions of when money come in. Artists say, I ain't get paid. You rack up 4 millions in recoupable debt, and then you make 6 million on your sales. You got to give up 4 million off top, which leaves 2 million. And
Mhm.
then with the 2 million, you have to break up the percentage that you owe the label. Now, if it's 50-50, you made 1 million and then they take 1 million. You be like, yo, but I made
Mhm.
6 million. How did I just make 1 million? Well, that's
Mhm.
how business structures work in the music industry.
Yeah. I think people forget like when you coming in, you really not coming with nothing. A lot of artists wasn't coming with nothing. So if you coming in with nothing and they saying, all right, I'm gonna give you this amount of money, cool, oh, I'm rich, woo woo. I didn't sign a deal and they didn't give me this amount of money. Yeah, but once you get back to paying studio time, flights, the food you eating, the cars, the fancy cars you driving, you're paying all that money back to them.
Yeah.
Because guess what? That was your advance to make the money. And then what gets misconstrued is when you don't make the money off that album. Because you can make an album, but you not necessarily gonna make the amount that you borrowed.
Yeah, most definite. Most
If
definite. And
you
then
if
if
you
you
if you borrowed $6 million and you only made 1 million off the album, you in debt.
yeah, you big time and you're in debt in two ways.
Yeah.
And this is what you're in debt because of the money you owe, and then you're in debt for the money and the percentage we supposed to break off.
Mm-hmm.
Because on the contract, any money that comes in, the first thing that is paid is what's recoupable, and that has nothing to do with the percentage that you and the label have. So, even that part right there, artists have a misconception of. Sometimes I tell artists, don't take the big check. Take a little one so that way you owe less. That way when the money comes in, you make more.
Good.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
you, but people be like, nah, you bugging. You know what I'm saying? They gonna give me this. And I'm like, yo, you're already in debt. You're already huge in debt. So, trying to help artists maneuver and understand that part is very difficult,
I
and
think
really
people try
hard.
to put on it's a facade.
Yeah.
It's
And
a facade. Let me put on and show this what I got, but I really don't have it. It's a facade.
it is. It is. And it's
It's
a
a big
false pretense of like, I made it. And, it's hard to
facade.
compete with marketing, especially on social media, where everything looks great on social media. Everybody could look great on social media. So sometimes artists get lost in that marketing of looking apart instead of being apart.
Pretty much, pretty much, pretty much. So, how did you create your label? Yep, the music group label. How did you create that? How did you come up with that?
So originally, the studio came out. the studio was built in 2012, which was an independent label. At that time, it was called SHU Studio Music Group. And that was just my way. I just was getting out of a deal situation with We Are the Hits and Sony, and I was going into the independent market. And I was like,
Mhm.
this is a great time to go in the independent market. It was a little premature for me at that time because the game was shifting, and I was using an old model at the time when the game was just shifting with the DSPs were taking over social media. So my label just became just a recording studio.
Mhm.
And for years, I was just developing artists, working with artists, and then I went into just straight A&R consulting for like Def Jam, Sony, Mass Appeal. In 2025, after learning and doing all the consulting I did with all the major labels, I was like, now is a great time where I've got the training, I got the insight, I've been working with artists, I have the studio, I engineer, I produce, I songwrite, I'm an artist, I also understand the business. This is a perfect time to relaunch it. But I wanted to relaunch it with distribution, and that was
Mhm.
my main push was getting our own distribution. And in 2025, July 2025, we launched Shoe Music Group with our own distribution, and we also offer distribution services to people that don't have to sign to us, but we offer distribution. And that was my way of like regaining back that independency and helping artists navigate, the independent space. I think the independent space is very difficult for artists to manage because there's so much noise of what they think they should be doing, and no
Mhm.
one no one next to them or near them that they could return and come back to. Everything is, chatbot or AI. You can't even go to support and speak to a human no more in most
You can't.
companies.
You get ChatGPT.
You,
You get an AI person.
yeah, so
Even
that
at the
was,
even at the like the restaurants and stuff too.
yeah,
Yeah.
everything, everywhere. So that was our thing. We wanted to bring that human touch back to this creative field where artists could talk to us and we could guide them and tell them, no, 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 go here or fill out this or sign this and walk them through. And that was the launch of Shoe Music Group. And the reason of why we launched Shoe Music Group is to bring that human touch back to the passion and create.
How is it important for branding for an artist or entrepreneur?
It's very brand. See, one thing about branding, right? I think it gets a we use it a lot and we say it a lot, but I don't think we maximize what it's made for. And in short term, branding is the representation of you in your absence. And what I mean by that, like you could take Nike, like Nike's company is in Oregon or wherever it's at. And then if you see somebody walking down the block with the check, you automatically take in their business, their company, their prestige, whatever talent they sign, that representation of wherever it is. And artists don't take a lot of time building that. What they take a lot of time building is their music. They push their music. Now, there's two parts of branding. There's viewership and there's listenership. And a lot of times we as artists just push, yo, listen to my music, listen to my music, listen to my music. But
Hmm.
people like, who are you? Who are you? You have to brand not only your listenership, but your viewership, marketing your brand, not just your music, because you are the product. Like as an artist, you're the product. Your service is the music. So I tell
Yeah.
artists, you have to really start branding not only your music, but you. And
Yourself so
it,
they can know who you are.
yeah, and it's more than just, I got a shirt with my logo on it.
Yeah.
It's more than that. It's more than that because your shirt with a logo on it doesn't tell a story of nothing,
Of who you are.
of who you are, and that's
Mhm.
branding. Even if it's a facade, even if it's a persona that you're making up, what even if because business is like take
Business.
it's business. Take McDonald's.
Mhm.
McDonald's Big Macs. When you see their billboard, the burger looks huge. We know it's not that big.
Hmm.
It's a
It's all
facade
about marketing. It's all about marketing yourself and putting yourself out there.
out
You
there.
don't put your brand out there. You don't talk to nobody and market with nobody. It's not gonna work. And I'm learning that in business as well. Like marketing is real big. Putting yourself out there is real big because if nobody knows you, then
And one of the key things with branding that a lot of people go wrong with is they look at branding and promo as one and the same. And a lot of people say I'm marketing, but they really doing is promoting. And
Mm-hmm.
people are like, so what's the difference between marketing and promo? And a rule of thumb that I use in business, marketing is you gearing to a lot more demographics that don't know you.
Mm-hmm.
Promo is to people who know you.
Yeah.
People who know you, that's promo. Like if I got a shirt brand, those who know me, I'd be like, hey guys, I got a new shirt. That's my promo. That's not marketing. Marketing would be, hey, are you a t-shirt buyer? What kind of
Mm.
quality you like? Well, if you come over to here, we got this. I don't have to do that to people who know me already. Marketing is turning their heads to people who could possibly be promoted to. You could promote
Yeah.
services to. So in music, I don't see a lot of marketing. I see tons of promotion. And artists are wondering like why people ain't messing with me. And it goes back to your brand. People don't know who you are. So they don't trust your merch. They don't want to really listen to your music. And if they do listen to your music, they don't know to listen to the next song that you got because they don't know you.
You got to show them you.
And that's the big part of branding. You.
The
Whether it's
big,
the real you or fake you, whichever you want to make, but they have to
whatever
uh
persona you want to put out there, it's
yeah.
still put out there. Market yourself. Go to people and start talking to them, and just let them know like this. Why this is just it's just like selling yourself. You're
Yeah.
basically going out there and you basically telling them why they should buy this product, like why should I listen to your podcast? It's like with me, why should I listen to your podcast? What's so interesting and what's different from all these 100,000 podcasts that's out here from your podcast? I always say mine is real
There you
authentic
go.
and real conversation because I would like to just talk to people. I like for it to flow and it be real and authentic. I don't want it to be fake. I want us to be able to get on here and have a real good conversation and be able to that still gets people. Because
Yeah.
if you have a conversation with a person, a real good conversation without talking about drama and all this else going on, it's still good because you're having a good conversation with them. A lot of people can't go, like I tell everybody to come on here. A lot of people can't go to other podcasts without them want to be in their business, know what's going on, you're in a relationship, all this type of stuff. But if you can come on here, my goal is to have a good conversation with you, real good old talk. We can talk about the growth that you got going on, what you got coming up, what's your next project, like putting your stuff out there. So you're marketing while you're talking to me because you basically telling people where to find you on social media. If you're an artist, you tell them where your music gonna be at. If you're a entrepreneur, you tell them about your business. You tell them
That's
where you
right.
base from. You know what I mean? That's my goal. Real
Uh,
growth, real opportunities. That's in real talk. If anybody asks me like, what is the base on your what are you basing your podcast off? Real talk, real conversation. Promote yourself, market yourself. If you can do anything, tell people about what you got going on,
that's right.
because that
Uh,
one person can listen to it and that's it goes from there. It only takes one person. So with me asking you what's your social media, what you got coming up next, people watching it,
yes, indeed. And it
having
only
a good
takes one.
conversation with you, like it's simple conversation. Your growth. Let people know your growth, where you came from, what you doing now.
Yeah, there you
Where you
go.
came from, it means a lot. It says a lot. Because I came from this and look where I'm at now. That be my goal when I do my podcasts.
I love that. I love that. Great job too. Great job. Great job too.
Thank you, thank you. I be trying. I be
Nah,
doing it.
you doing it. You doing it. You doing
Yeah.
it.
That's my goal. Like it's never nobody. I feel like nobody is too big for the next person because we all mess up in life.
That is true. And it's all part of the journey. That's those are character based that help develop who we are and how we take our next steps down the line.
If you could tell your younger self something right now, what would you tell your younger self?
This is very interesting because I ask a lot of people this question.
Oh
Um,
wow.
I would look at my younger self and I would just say like, yo, it's gonna get rough, bro. Just keep doing what you're doing. And
Mm-hmm.
I would leave it at that. And the reason why I wouldn't say anything, because just like what we just said, a lot of the mistakes and a lot of the errors and the hardships that I experienced helped develop everything that I'm doing now. There's a gem that you can't get anywhere else in life unless it's a hardship. Like a hardship gives you a gem that you can't get nowhere in life. And when you're in it, you don't want to be in it. You don't want to be in that hardship. But once you get out of it, there's so much more reward that you could take with you during your journey. So I would just look at the younger version of me and just be like, yeah, it's gonna get rough at times, young man. But just keep doing what you're doing. And I would just walk away. I would just walk away.
With all the success you have gained, what is something, a piece of advice you can give somebody that is doing different, like doing different things, coming to the industry, doing different, want to do different things. Like if they just don't want to do one thing, like the artist, they want to do the producing and all that. What advice would you give them?
Focus on your canvas. And what I mean by focus on your canvas, we have a hard time, or we have a big issue with looking over at someone else's canvas like, okay, what they doing, I gotta do it like that, or that's not the move. In this space, it's a creative space, and to really develop your true business sense, when you have it in your head, give that a chance. If we're mimicking the concepts of someone else, the problem with mimicking someone else's business structure, or looking over at someone else's thing and doing exactly what they did, we don't know if that we have the same resources, the same experiences, the same marketing, the same promo, the same things that could be successful the way they are. So a lot of tell people, create something and let it start morphing. Yeah, learn, study, but create, and be careful about advice. And the reason why I say be careful about advice, excuse me, a lot of times people will give you advice in their fear, and they'll do it with love,
Yeah.
but it will be their fear. I can't tell you how many times when I said I was gonna do music, people like, yo, man, you shouldn't do that, bro. It's not a good business, bro. Like, it's dark and dangerous, and if I would have took all the advice that people gave me that love me, that was different or going in a different direction, I wouldn't be where I am today, because their advice came with a fear of their own concerns, not a
Mm.
concern for me. So you got to be very careful about the advice.
Do what's
And
best for you.
yes, yes, and don't be fearful to make a mistake in the process,
Yeah.
but give yourself that chance to do it. Yes, take some advice. I'm not going to say don't take any advice. Just be careful of the advice, because it might be someone else's fears and inability to proceed, and not yours.
Yeah. If what is the definition of success to you?
To keep going. And reason why I say to keep going, right? I always use this analogy. Say someone's trying to be a doctor, right? And he goes to school, and then he fails the exam, but he stays in school. You know what they're gonna say? Yeah, so and so he on his way to be a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment he stops, that is the true essence of failure. And it's like the GPS. It's like GPS. You might put in a route, and the road might be blocked, or there might be a delay. If I say, "All right, I'm just gonna park and call," I'm not gonna get to my destination. But as long if I bust a left and I go around the block a few times, it might be long, but I'm still successful in my route because I'm continuing. And that's why I say success to me is continuing, staying on the path. Sometimes the path might detour, it might go around a few blocks, hit a roadblock, you might be stuck in traffic. But if you stay on the course, you're successful in your journey. It just separates the time frame. So just keep going. That's success to me. Like, keep at it.
Consistency.
Keep at it.
Consistent. Be
Yeah.
consistent with it. Don't stop just because it get hard.
Yeah. Because we know what we get if we stop. It's over. Nothing.
It's over.
Right? It's over. So we know
It's
that
over
for
with.
sure. So why just keep going?
Can you tell people where they can find you at, where they connect with you, and any upcoming projects that you got going on?
Yes. Well, if anybody's interested to have a conversation, shoot me some. Spud Brooklyn is everything. So you could go to spudbrooklyn.com. Spud Brooklyn on Instagram, TikTok. Spud Brooklyn, SPUD Brooklyn, BROOKLYN. That's at spudbrooklyn.com. If you're looking forward to distribution, I want to get involved, or know about our record label, that's SHU Music, SHU Music Group.com. And we also have our nonprofit, which is spudinc.org, where we use music as an alternative approach to decision making. We run the different programs in different cities, also different states. Where we
Okay.
come in, we teach engineering, recording, podcasting, mentorship, mental development, so much different stuff. We even incorporate in Zumba and dance therapy. So if anybody's interested in that, right now we just launched our End of an Era Volume One off the comp. It was a compilation off the record label with a lot of artists that are on the label as well as affiliate artists. We're working on a development for a magazine. Working with a company for a magazine, and we just one of our shows, the A&R Desk, which is on Wednesdays, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, live on Instagram as well as TikTok. And you can catch us on the MJMG Presents app. Shout out to Miss Jackson, MJMG, one of my partners. We run A&R live A&R on the show, so you can submit your music. We give A&R reviews. You can ask business questions. We answer the question live to give you some resources. And shout out to JR's, one of our winners of not this week, last week's show, who won a chance to get walked into a major label to present his music to an executive. So we're always trying to create opportunities. So if
That's
anybody's interested, most definitely tap in. Tap in.
that is definitely big. That's definitely big to win it and then go present his music to actual industry.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
very.
We walking him in. We walking him in.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me?
So as far as I do have a question. As far as the creatives and everybody that you have on this platform, what is your biggest goal for you when sitting down with all these different individuals of all different likes? What's your ultimate goal for you?
The goal is to get my business put out there. Like I want people to understand. Like I'm not putting a title on anything. Like it don't matter what you do, even if you have your own business. Like you can come on here and be comfortable. That's my goal to get it out there more marketing. It doesn't matter. As you can see, I done had different people, actors, singers, different stuff like that. I have a single matter of fact coming on in August. But for me, you know how certain podcasts they only have certain people, actors and stuff like that or whatever. No, I'm open. That's how I feel like the marketing it's better to market better with different industries because
Yes.
you'll be known in different industries. You know what I'm saying? With the business part, I didn't interview different people, so for me, that's what I really want to do. And I only been doing it for a year, so to get myself put out there and a lot of things, you know.
There you go. There you go. I want to send a big shout out and thank you to you for having me on the platform, being able to share and how you bringing people here to not only share their experience but also give insight to people and like-minded people across the globe. So thank you. That's very dope and it felt good. I was felt great here today. Felt great here today. So thank you. Thank you.
Is there a final message you would like to leave for the listeners?
Yes, my final thing was be creative, y'all. Don't get caught up into the noise of what it is what's out there. Really tap into what you want to say, express, and feel. We're at the best time in life right now to get those ideas out, share them to people who are like-minded. And you're gonna come across a lot of people who don't get what you're doing. You're gonna come across people that don't like what you're doing. But guess what? It's not for them. When you put something out there, it's for those that get it, where that light bulb goes off and they share it. And when you find those people, that's your market. And then you tap in and zone into that market. Let all the noise continue outside, but you focus on your expression and who respects, receives it, and wants it. And you'll find the joy in everything you do. And that's my final word for everybody out there. Do what you do, say how you want to say it, and find the people who really want it.
Yeah. Do what makes you happy and find the ones that want because there's somebody out there that's gonna want that.
Oh
Like for
yes.
real.
That's right. There's someone right now waiting, like waiting for what you got to create.
Yeah.
They're waiting for it. So get it to them.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for taking time out your day to interview with me. Thank you so much. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And hopefully I'll see you again soon.
For sure, for sure. Anytime. And
Anyone that want to be interviewed, they can come on. Just have good conversation, real talk.
there we go. And I'm gonna share that. I'm gonna share that most definitely. That's how we build as a community, right? We share.
For sure.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
You have a great one.
You as well.
All right.